So in for repair today we have our John Deere 7710 with a 4-wheel drive issue. We also have our MLT 735 in with a problem with a boom, leakage on the boom. We'll also catch up with David, who's doing a front skid on the front chopper, and we'll catch up with Eamon, who's actually on the big chopper as well. But first of all, we'll head over to David, who's had a busy weekend there with Ratoath on the hurling front after winning their first championship after 61 years. So first of all, we'll head over and we'll have a bit of crack with David. Today we've one of the skids in off the harvester. This skid is for running at the top of the ridge.
Depth control on your chopper, yeah.
Yeah. Now we have a little bit of wear on it, as you can see here, and we just want to give it a little bit of width as well, because it's just not probably riding on the ridge as good as we want.
Yeah, well, it's not that. It's just as soon as you go off of the tall, it slides down off the side and the buries there. So we're just going to, it's 250 wide now at the minute, so we're going to make it at least 350. Right. Anyway, so we'll make it a bit wider and strengthen it up as well while we're at it.
So yeah, because it's actually gone a bit thin there, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's wearing through, so it's getting, it's showing its age.
Yeah, so you got your voice back.
Just about.
Yeah, big celebration. Big celebration the weekend.
Congratulations, the boys in Ratoath win the senior championship, first time in 61 years since 1963.
Yeah.
So a huge shout out to the boys there, deadly.
And you'd all the telltale effects of it here all week.
Absolutely,
there. It's just starting to kind of talk half normal now, isn't it? But great bit of crack, I'd say.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Sure, look, we've been in 4 finals now, and it's just to get over the line. It's a major thing. So.
Well, on Ratoath, even though, you know, there would be neighbours, we wouldn't be shouting for them too often.
No, no one
but
really
it's great to see after 61 years, they definitely deserve it.
No one really shouts for Ratoath now, only ourselves, so that's about it.
Right, what else have we on the workshop this morning? We have this skid to do, and then we have a few bits to tidy up on...
what else? We've Manitou in.
Yeah.
Sean is working on the main centre arm and the boom.
Right, okay.
So just a set of seals to go into it.
Right, so we'll tip over to Sean here. The job we have on the Manitou is we had a slight, well, probably more than a slight eye leak on it.
More than a slight, yeah.
Weren't quite sure. The lads brought it back. We were working away and getting a lot of oil in around this area here, dripping down. The problem with this is you can't see anything. No. It could be running down the channel, it could be squirting out the back, it could be a pipe, it could be anywhere.
I know, yeah.
So we said, look, the handiest thing is bring it back to the workshop, open it up and see what's going on. Now, we did ring the guys below in mid-loud just to see is there anything obvious. Gerard did suggest that.
He did take out the ram because the caps
are
notorious for going loose, and them cap, it wasn't the cap, so it was the seals and the actual ram itself. So it was
lovely job, I'd say.
It was, yeah. It's a big brush now to get out.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll take a look at it now in a minute. It's a big long ram in it. So to access that, we have an access point here at the back. Sean took that off. Has to take his lights off. The pin here for the back for holding on your ram is just not in a handy spot.
No, absolutely not. See, your lights, whenever you take out your lights, there's more of an access point. You can get out your circlips. And take it out and bay it out. It wasn't too bad now. The far one was.
And I see your tank is just positioned in a way that
it won't go out that way. It was. I was trying to get it out and then it just nicked there. So I just says here, I'm not.
So you pulled the pin from this side.
Yeah.
And then you pulled the ram out.
Yeah. And blanked off my feed pipe onto my ram. There's no point getting seals and all just to figure out the shot. So pipe ran there.
Yeah, so we've sealed that and you tried that.
I ran it, there was no leaks.
No leaks in your pipe system.
Yeah,
so it's more like looking like the seals on the ram, and the guys said they have changed a few of them, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
Right, okay, well look, we're probably up on many thousand hours now?
It's 5,000 hours now.
5,500 hours, probably a bit early for it to go, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Look at nature to the job.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Again, in here we have a few sensors there because there is kind of
level sensors
and things on this that have to be disconnected. But probably just do a good wash now when you look down there.
Yeah,
it is fairly grubby, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll take us over here to the ram, which is over on the bench. So this is the ram out of the telehandler. As you can see, it's a fair lump of a ram. It's over 4 meters long, I'd say, isn't it, Sean?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, and the seals were. Yeah, we have the seals here, just can't I get them. This is probably where our problem is. Now, what ones did you see that was...
Well, when I took this apart, and I've back together now, but there was little bits of the seals it was.
Yeah.
And that little small one's gone all flat. So.
Okay.
And then I actually found, I don't know where it's gone now, this green seal on the inside, I found a piece, there was pieces of it, and I took it out. I don't know where they're gone now, but
But anyway, at this stage, it's just putting a complete new set into it. You're not going to be, with the fact that we have a house now. Another point to take out is that when you are taking out the ram, the lads were saying, was to measure how to mark it, to make sure that
whenever you're taking it out, because there's no access, whenever you put the ram back in, you can't take off the panel next and pull the ram to where you want it.
So it's going to be the exact fit of where you're going to go back in.
At the very top of the boom here.
Yeah, the pin is in the boom.
So it's just, as soon as you get it out, don't really pull like mad.
So I hope you have them pictures on the phone when you didn't delete them, did you?
I do, no, I don't delete them. So.
Yeah, right. Well, look, we're just waiting on the set of seals to come forward.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a major job to put the seals into it, but it's a big job to take it out and pull it back in. But the job just has to be done. Yeah. The piston itself looks good enough. You'd always have to check there for if there was any pitting around on it that might probably cause there. But looking at the chrome on it there, it's very, very good on it. So yeah, maybe just a little bit of wear and tear on it that probably caused that, but could be worse, Sean. Could be worse.
Could be a lot worse.
So tool of the week here, Sean has invented it himself, and it's called a pin
beta.
The pin beta. It's for the sledgehammer here on the back of it. So we'd initially getting that pin out of that the ram on the front here on the boom. So we just made up a pin here with 2 handles there for holding that. So you can put your rag around that. We have a little standing area here where Marco with the brute force with the sledge. Yeah,
it keeps me away. It's rather than me holding the pin in here.
Yeah,
it keeps me away from it, me face away from it. I can hold it here.
Yeah,
and he can.
But Marco is a good shot, is he not?
Oh, he's a good shot. He does, yeah.
He'd want to be, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if one fatal miss there, Sean, you could be on your knees. You could be out cold. But yeah, got the pin out. That was the main thing. Wasn't easy to get it out, as you can imagine. But just a little bit of brute force, and that done the trick. We have our. You ready to go?
Yeah, go on.
You talking, me talking?
You can talk.
He's going to take over the videos. And well, go on, walk away then. You introduce it here.
That's fine.
Fine, right. Okay, so we have our 6-row topper in. Yeah, a little bit of an accident. Well, I'm not sure. Probably a crack in the bottom of it here. Went a fold up there by lifting it up and seen a bit of play in it. We lift the end of it here. Now, they probably do get a fair bit of abuse. They're in the they're in the drill, but when you come out of the headlands, and they do sway a little bit, and sometimes you get a little bit of side swing on it, come down on the corner over here, and that's probably resulted in the bottom of the crack. But I think Eamon, that was broke before.
Looks like it's re-welded, doesn't it?
It looks to me to be re-welded.
Yeah.
Someone just took it off, welded and pulled it back on. Probably need to strengthen it now at this stage. So the plan is to, I'd say, we've pins here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see, can we pull that pin out?
That out.
Now, is
enough play.
them pipes going to be long enough? It might be now. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to wheel that in like so. It should sit there. Yeah. And here is the broken bracket. Yes, definitely was welded before. As you can see, it's fairly light. So we just need to loosen those two 24s there.
Yep.
And loosen them there, pull that off, and we'll bring it into Marco. Maybe he might do us a favour there and weld it up. But yeah, it's just a bit of, it's cracked before, we'd welded it and it's cracked again, so nothing major.
No,
nothing major. We've a landquip sprayer in here with the kind of joints gone on the.
So bushings are gone.
Bushings, wasn't on the CV joints?
Yeah, CV joints. So, look at wear and tear, always turning the headlands.
I think you were spraying last week. The lad says you
give it a go.
He got a go there with Cahill last week. He brought the sprayer up from it. Cahill ball him into the driver's seat. And I think actually, Sean, you kind of took to it fairly good, didn't you?
Yeah, sure.
So Cahill says he's one in the making, but then he got Sean to do the job. Then actually, when he got him in, so he was clever enough the week and he walked out. He tricked you. Yeah. He tricked you. So in here we have on the joints there. There's bushings inside in these. Now there's still only a bolt that's kind of keeping them in position. Is there any wear on the bolt as such?
No, not really. No, it was more so the bushing. Whenever I took the bolt out and was tapping the bushing, it actually fell into pieces. So it did. So.
And is it a heavy bushing shot?
Not really, no. It's
probably should be heavier.
It could be a lot better now, so it could.
Yeah, or there could be, was it a polypenko, was it plastic bushing, was it?
No, it's polypenko.
Polypenko, yeah. I'd probably rather see maybe a brass bushing or something in that, like that. You know, there's not terrible pressure on it, but you'd be surprised too with the big wheels on it and the turning action, the big wheel.
Conditions as well in the field, like if you went into a bad field, and, you know, it's just...
Yeah, well, ground conditions are actually dry, which probably makes it even harder to turn on it.
Yeah.
So when we'd won out, we done the pin and the bush on that, and we done the same on the far, so put the grease in it.
We noticed it severely on that side, but just while it was stopped, just stood through them.
And you showed the drivers where the grease nipples were, did you?
And down Hubble Road, there's no any grease nipples.
Oh my God, that's a fair statement, isn't he? Yeah. You hope he's not watching the video.
Well, that's 2 machines now.
Oh, 2 is it? Oh, 2 is after. Oh.
Yeah, notebook.
Notebook. Yeah, so anyway, job is done anyway, so it should keep it good for another while.
Should do.
Right, Kaylem, John Deere 7710 in here with a 4-wheel drive issue. It's engaged all the time?
Yeah, so it wasn't disengaging, and noticed I just brought it in for service, and most tractors just bring spin up the road, and it's fine. There's all sorts of problems, just know the driving of it. And it was actually dropping the transmission oil pressure, and the transmission oil light was coming on. So when I do a test on, say, on concrete, you put the tractor in 4-wheel drive and go for a high gear, and it starts slipping the clutch, and on full lock the tractor will bind up. So you turn on your 4-wheel drive and reverse back. When you turn it off, where it all binds up in the front axle, when you disengage, it'll be a big bang out of it. Yeah. So that's the test usually, just to see the 4-wheel drive's not engaging. Put on a pressure clock, and my transmission oil pressure was dropping from 200 psi down to it was about 50. So you've seen this before, and what we have on the housing is our 4-wheel drive solenoid is here on the bottom, and we have oil pressure fed to here. And on the inside of the housing, there's an oil gallery, and there's a bushing on the inside there. Now this shaft goes into the housing on that bushing, and there's 2 steel rings to sit either side, and one of them has broken up and completely ate the housing out of it. So we know we need to get this bored and bushed, or new housing, but bore and bushing is able to be done, and 2 new steel rings. Now the oil pressure is supplied in through this port and through the shaft and back out at this port, which is in the centre of our piston. So on a 4-wheel drive on a tractor, we have a bevel spring. So when there's no oil pressure fed to the pack, your 4-wheel drive is engaged. So it's done like that for safety, and every machine is done the exact same way because you have 4-wheel braking when you're over 40k, so you'll always have that no matter what happens. And so it supplies oil pressure to our piston and it releases the pack. So if you've anything wrong with that, with a solenoid or like this where we're dropping oil pressure, it's not able to disengage the 4-wheel drive. So it's just able to spot that with a pressure clock on the actual transmission oil pressure. It's not always a guaranteed way of doing it. You'd rather tee in a line off of the supply to the actual pack, but there just wasn't a test bar on it, and you've seen on it before, and the gamble was correct anyway, so it wasn't.
You weren't wrong.
No, thankfully, because look, from my own perspective anyways, it's nice when you diagnose something and you go, like I had betted on that, this is taking it apart. But you do need to do as much diagnosing before you go stripping stuff like this.
Yeah.
But
the pack itself then is, clutch pack is good enough?
Yeah, so this is all our plates on it, and all our plates are good. So sometimes the steel plates can warp, or the actual lining will wear down, but look, in this case we're not really looking at it. So
they all look good.
Yeah, no, everything's bang on in order and that now. So there's no real say parts wise, like this is the only bag of parts we really have to get for it. We've our 2 steel rings, 2 O-rings for here, the main O-ring on the piston.
Yeah.
New 4-wheel drive output seal, the new seal here on the handbrake, and that's more or less it. And our bearings are.
This is the problem here.
Yeah, so that's the main issue now, is to have to get that
machined up.
But yeah, it's a nice problem anyway.
And your pack just sits in here, that's the way it sits into that?
Yeah, so the whole assembly sits down inside.
Okay, right, well then it's off to the machine shop for this to see can we get that sorted, and once we've that problem done then it's build it back and get it back in. Again, a 4-wheel drive, you will probably know if you're driving it, especially on concrete, you'll feel the grip on it. And it's never the switch. I don't think it's ever the switch, is it?
Never that lucky normally. Well, look, on a lot of the John Deeres, it's, in my eyes, I think it's a fairly bad design with just where the solenoid is located. I've seen a lot of tractors like these stone ones and stuff like that. A big problem just with
stone, or
even I remember on a 7, 8, 10, like just a branch coming up and pulled it actually only unplugged, it didn't break at them.
Yeah.
But having to bury yourselves underneath it to get it plugged back in.
Yeah, we've seen it on the 7.8s and the 6.820s where just that cable that just pushes in, but unfortunately
it's just not too great of a design. If the solenoid was 90 degrees or pointed up from the top and just a bit tidier, but that's just the way it is. It's a fairly easy problem to spot. Like on these normally, the first thing you'd always do is check the wiring on it, because it is prone. And actually, like on these, like a very easy way, even if you're out in the field and you don't have a multimeter out in fancy, if you have your solenoid put in on this and you energise it, your spanner will actually stick to it, something like steel.
Yeah.
It's because that's all it's doing, is magnetic field. So that'll actually become magnetised, just the very end of it. So your nuts on here, you just tap it
and you get
yeah. Because like I actually photograph of this, I have a little 4-inch vice grips hanging off it. So the magnetic field is that strong and I was able to hold it. So just, it's an easy way. It's not, you wouldn't diagnose anything from it, but it's a quick way of seeing if electrically it's working.
Yeah, okay, right, well sure. We'll have to get that one sorted first before we can get this sorted, before we can do anything.
Yeah, a few nice notes in it now.
Now then, just as general servers on, we'll say we talk about some of the older tractors today, the likes of the 7.7, which is probably over 15,000 hours on it now at this stage, heading for 16, but still going strong. What generally would you do for, we'll say for anyone that's watching it there and they have a tractor maybe and they want to bring it in and just do general servers, and then to just do your checks at the start of the day and possibly at the end of the day as well, because a lot of drivers nowadays will just get in and turn the key
and forget about it.
But it's very important that to just do the quick checks on it before you do start it.
Yeah, and look, in the winter time, I'd be fond of dropping out the transmission oil and the suction pipe in the bottom of it with gauze inside it, and it's a good indication for brakes and everything like that, just as to what, like, because it's the only way of spotting these things early, because like the tractor's doing a lot of road work and brakes and stuff like that, it's important to keep on top of. These don't generally do, so you don't need to worry about it too often, but there's the odd one that slips you the net. But if you spot it in time before it starts doing a lot of damage, and
before it gets very busy too, along with that, you'll have always more time in the winter time to be probably, it depends on what you're at, like, but I mean, for in our case, they're probably quieter during the winter period, and then probably on some dairy farmers they could be probably busier, depending on what they do. So your typical 7.10 or 6.910, which is a lot of them on dairy farms and cattle farms around the country. Look, it's no harm to just throw a quick eye on them. Again, we start off in a very simple check, as you have to check for oil every day. So it's fairly standard, but keep your oil change. Probably keep your oil changes lower, would you? As engines kind of get older.
It's always like there's never such a thing other than the price of the actual servicing. There's never any harm to do it that bit early and try and stay on top of it. Because like if you still had, say if this was a more modern machine and there was 100 hours left to service, but in 2 weeks' time you're going to go off and do a pile of sewing or whatever.
You're going to get it done.
exactly. You do it beforehand, and there's never any harm, because if you say you do that 100 hours and then service it, you're probably going to be too busy to do that. So when you have the time, like just leaving out specific hour periods, when you have the time is a good place to start with, just getting the general maintenance done.
Right.
And even if you didn't have much time when you were busy, it's not that much. Like these tractors are willing to do everything, wheel on full lock left, and you have 2 diesel filters, an engine oil filter, and engine oil change, and you get it done in an hour.
Yeah.
So if you are busy, you still can just keep to the basics on it. You wouldn't even have to worry about your diesel filters as such, just engine oil and engine oil filter, if you keep on top of that.
Hubs then?
Front hubs, I do on these kind of every 1,000 hours, not doing major road work or anything like that. The oil is still come out clean, which is a sign that you're doing it well enough.
Yeah.
You know, because if we're draining the front hub oils, it's coming out black, then maybe you want to
You smell it anyway, wouldn't you, nearly?
Yeah, lovely stink of it.
Lovely stink of it. First of all, probably, look at your rads, look at your coolant levels.
Yes.
On these, you just pop these off. There's no harm sometimes even on these tractors to change the springs here on the bottom of them, because you can clean the rattle and fall out of it, and then they're under the wheel, and that's the end of them, isn't it?
You've no panel then at all.
Yeah, so it's not inclined to come off. Wants to stay on, but that's it. Just take it off there. Looking in here now, and we've never touched this, so from first glance in, and first of all, I can see right across to the far side, so that's a good start. You will always get a lot of build up depending on what actually the machine is at.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of hay and straw in there every day, enough to build a bird's nest, I'd say, and more.
Yeah.
So we need to check that. Here, your aircon rad is on as well.
Yeah.
You can lift these up, can't you? Can you lift these ones up?
You can take with the...
You can't slide it out.
No, I think you're kind of... You can slide it out.
You can slide it out, here we go.
Lift up the front of the banner.
Yeah, so this has to come off, which is just not that simple now.
Well, it actually is only 2 bolts either side, and
you need 2 or 3 hands just to...
Yeah, but you can do it on it. And antifreeze is something that gets forgotten about a lot by different people. And the antifreeze is more than just to stop it from freezing, but to stop the water from sludging up, and I forget the word now, but it'll absorb the iron and the minerals out of like your engine block and all that, and then it'll turn to...
Yeah.
How do you put it? It'll all build up anyways.
Yeah.
It's more than
just from stopping from freezing.
Yes. Because there's nothing worse than coming out to a tractor and finding a nice radiator hose or something split. Like it could do harm like within an engine, but generally rubber hoses are the first thing that will burst, so it's not too bad.
So again, you're checking your hoses. Then there's no harm just throw an eye on them then as well.
Yeah, that and fan belts and stuff like that is always important to keep check of.
Okay. Header tank on these then is done. We have 2 tanks in this one, haven't we?
Yeah, and I haven't even looked at this, but the way a lot of these are done is it's only, say, from your overflow of your radiator, a pipe to the header tank. And the way that works is when your engine heats up, your expansion tank is only there to not let the water literally drop to the ground. So at the level that's there, you can never walk off the expansion tank height.
No.
Because if you have a leak somewhere, it works by as it heats up, it pushes the water into the header tank, and at night time when it cools down, it'll actually vacuum and pull it back in. But if you have a leak, there's no vacuum there, and it won't, so your level will stay right in your header tank, but your radiator level could be dropping.
Yeah.
So you have to check both. The expansion tank it's only an extra. You can never work off it for your actual
these
level.
are actually handy enough, because if you come round to the far side call here, you'll see. So we have a coolant check here on the side of it. You have a cooling temperature and a working temperature on it.
Yeah.
Just to give you the 2 different levels if it's working away. But we have seen there on one instance there where the header tank was actually...
Yeah, so the header tank, the level was right, but the radiator still took about 5 litres. So if you do have a bad enough leak, it won't vacuum it back in when it's cold.
Right.
Vacuum it back into the radiator when it's cold. So that's all that's...
So there is a up on top there, you can actually open it and check it, but obviously do it when it's cool.
Yeah, not to be open when it's hot.
Anything else then that's kind of visual on it?
Oil leaks, exhaust manifolds is another big one of these, and
yeah,
exhaust
these ones
boxes.
with exhaust box do give a little bit of grief on them.
I'd say every single one of these now with the hours that I've run them, something's been done to both manifold and exhaust at several stages, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's just always it's easy to spot, especially with these that are not fully enclosed. You see the blackness on it, or you get the whiff inside in the cab driving it.
Yeah.
Just not a good thing to ignore.
Battery check then, which is on the far side, isn't it?
Yep.
So just the access then to your batteries, which is on this side here, we've a cover, slides out, simple enough. And now we're just looking at our battery. So first of all, I see we have a bracket missing.
Yeah.
Which is never a good thing. So you should have your 2 brackets here on this, so whatever happened to that one, well, it just wasn't put back, but we need to get a bracket into that. Now, they are probably not the original John Deere batteries that's in that. I think they are the ones that generally come have a pole in the middle of them, don't they?
Yeah, they're generally, might just put the smack bang in the middle of them.
They're a strong box, I think, battery that's in them. But looking at these, what we have seen on this tractor was your bracket breaking, or your exhaust bracket hanging off, and this actually falling down on top of the battery.
Melted the cover first, and then it'd be a nice scenario.
Yeah, so you don't really want that to happen. So again, just a visual check on that. If you want again to get your battery and check it, the new batteries will come and have a little sight glass on them there, just for checking it. And that's really it then on the battery front. Again, your poles too. It's no harm to just check them and just check the cable. Make sure there's nothing. You get a bad air there or anything like that, and it'll throw you off. And it'll probably start on one battery for a while, and then it doesn't start.
And then make sure the poles aren't loose, and you could drive away to somewhere and then get stuck. That's something that I've seen on cars and stuff like that, where someone might just throw a thermal on the horn.
They'd push it onto
forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it. So just make sure they're tight, which they are there on that tractor, except that we do need to put a bracket on it there. So again, on this tractor, it's very simple. You have the old type steel fuel filter on the side of it, clips on, clips off with your bung here for bleeding it. You like servicing these, don't you?
Yeah, to be probably the easiest tractor here in the yard service. You can put the one drum underneath it, I can drain the engine oil, and I can let all my diesel and my engine oil filter just tip down into it. So you do the whole service there standing in one place in less than an hour. Your air filter and everything.
Your air filter is here, which just pops out, and you can have a check of that anyway. So look, there's just a few simple checks that probably did look at your older tractors, maybe the newer type ones are.
Yeah. Just that.
Well, they all need to be looked at, in fairness.
No, they do. Everything has to be done. Now, these tractors not as often as kind of the once a year sort of thing. But then again, you'd be surprised at the hours some machines could do. There could be 2 tractors that could be, say, this or 7, 8, 10. And
yeah, but if you one would say in a diet feeder, or one, it could be actually walking away. The other one could have a loader on, and they'll be fly out around winter time. These won't, but I mean, during the summertime, they do get a bit of a spin, and you'd be surprised. You just might get a run of it in a field, and could be doing anything.
Yeah.
So look, it just takes only takes a couple of minutes, especially if you just want to, in the morning time, a few quick checks.
Yeah, even if you just kept on top of your levels and keep your front axle greased and stuff like that, you'd be off to a good start.
Yeah.